Welcome to Raw Akademix RoundTable discussions. Together I gathered around a community of creatives where we're going to discuss being black in Los Angeles while opportunities are moving, or being black creators in Los Angeles while opportunities are moving out of our city, you know? So, I mean, a lot of us haven't worked in a while, right? I mean, we're finding it hard to find work, right?
Yeah,
stripping. Stripping?
It gets me at the pain.
But so we're gonna discuss what we're doing in place or trying to replace the opportunities that are currently moving out of our city. And I'll just go around, let everybody introduce themselves and what they do as, you know, creatives. So let's start with you, young lady.
Hi, my name is Amira. I am an actress. I also have a blog and a YouTube, but it hasn't been active in a while. But acting and YouTubing is like my main thing.
What's up? I'm Bonji. I'm an actor. I used to rap under the name of C Thoughts. And yeah, that's me.
I'm Steven. My artist name is Abstract Brother. I am an actor, I am a rapper, I'm a producer, I'm an artist, painter, anything creative, I do it. Yeah.
And I'm Terrence L Macky. I'm also an actor, artist, creative as well.
Okay, all right. So, what are the other creative outside of acting? What are the? I mean, I think everybody pretty much named their secondary creativity. But is there anything else that you guys do like creatively or to monetize and make money?
Mm-hmm. Right. Writing a pilot right now. A TV series pilot. And then once I'm done writing the pilot, I want to have a formula for how each season is going to go. I want to have at least 3 seasons, maybe 4 altogether.
Ready before you know.
Before I try and present it to anybody.
Okay.
It's going to be a theme, but what's the theme?
For the genre.
Zombie.
Scary, okay.
Zombie.
So instead of going in line, let's hop over here to Terrence. Terrence, you got anything going on? Come on, bro. I know you got something going on. No?
He's like, I ain't gonna talk about it.
No, I do, but I don't do anything like I'm strictly, it's been my dream to be an actor my whole life. So, you know, a lot of people, because if you're not afforded to be in the arts at a young age, depending on where you're from, if you're not, you know, afforded parents that can do that for you, you learn real trades. So I just do real trade stuff to make real money, and that funds my acting, my dream to hope, you know, but I hope and wish and pray that it was something that was monetary, but I do YouTube as well, you know, it's not monetized just yet as well. So I guess what the thing about YouTube creative content is that you can yourself and being paid, so I'm just ready for that to happen, but that has not happened. People, you know, you can be nobody one moment and then you wake up and then you're somebody, I guess. So, but right now I just do regular work to make my dream happen. I ain't doing nothing. I ain't really stripping at the paint. So,
but I do have to mention, it's funny because our director David, he also has like a food content channel.
What?
And, yeah, like it's funny because it's
I
like
do mukbangs and stuff.
yeah, I would watch y'all channels. I can't watch more than 5 minutes of y'all channel because the food be looking like really good.
That's why I'm minutes ago. You're supposed to be watching them all. Just don't see when they're running. You have to connect.
let me head to bring it over to you, Steve. What are you doing in terms of like
Creativity.
Yeah.
I'm always working on the album. That's never stopping. Like, production-wise, and I have 2 obsessions right now as far as content-wise with the album. Like, on one end, I'm obsessed with the cyberpunk thing. I just want to like speak on all the dangers of all the technology that we're dealing with right now. And on the other end, I'm like, it's the spiritual side of me. I'm like creating all these songs that like speak to my like inner soul about an esoteric information, and you know.
Got you.
Yeah, that's
all right. in Amira?
So I've actually been going through like a creative block recently. So I've been doing things to try to get my inspiration back. Like I went to see a play recently, which I really loved. That was good. Yeah, it was called the Last Night at McHale's, put on by the Ruby Theater. I really enjoyed that because, like, obviously the play plot was good, but it was about creativity too. It was about like the process of creation. It was the characters was James Baldwin, Maya Angelou, and Miles Davis. So they were talking about the play process. So that was great. Plan to go see Sinners for sure. Yeah. Oh, I didn't see. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So yeah, definitely. And I have some things like that I'm like in the, I guess like still like in the what's it called? Like the fetus type of stage of creativity spiritual stuff that I definitely want to share. I'm a seeker of truth, one of the things that I find myself. So I've been on this journey where like life kind of sat me down, dealing with like health and just life issues. So now it gave me a lot of things that now I just kind of like put into like a creative format.
Okay,
So that's my
okay.
creative process.
I dig that. So the two of you, I think the two of you have been in LA the longest.
Really?
Well, yeah, like you said 12, right? 12
Yeah,
years.
about 12,
13.
Yeah, about 14.
Oh, for real? I thought you. Okay, all right. So the three of y'all have been here alone. I think me and Terrence, yeah, we just like we're still under like the 10.
Yes.
Okay. So let me ask you this: how have you seen LA change in the creative space?
That's interesting because I feel like I live like 10 lives. Like when I first got out here, I was just on the college thing. So that was that. Like I was living the college life, partying and stuff like that. And I wasn't that, I guess, involved in like the entertainment, just like from going to like events and stuff like that. Then when I graduated, it was like a lot of things going on. So I would say from like then to now, I would just like more scarcity. Like it's just, even the community too, it doesn't feel as communal as it once did too. And I don't know if that's just me and my changes, because like I haven't been in acting class in a while. I just started participating in like film festivals and stuff again. I went to earlier this year the Pan African Film Festival. That was really cool. But it wasn't, I've been doing it since for like 10 years already.
Gotcha.
And it's just still not as how I used to be. Like even there at a different movie theater now. I used to be in Walnut Hills, now it's in Kocher City. So I think just like it doesn't feel as communal as it once did for me. That would probably be like the main change that I noticed. It used to be like improv. Like you find out about, it's an improv room at this place Monday nights at 7, and then from that improv you learn about another improv spot. So things like that.
That's interesting.
That I miss. I love it.
Man, I didn't even get that much of all of that myself. Like it seems,
really?
yeah. Like I moved out here 2016, 2017.
Okay.
So like around that time, all the conferences started to die down. So so I think I didn't get that much of the communal aspect as you did. I know for you, like you didn't experience much of that either, right?
Because I went straight to work when I came. So when you come from Chicago, I ain't got no hope dreams for myself. You gotta survive, and I know how to pay rent, and I need to know how to figure out what these streets is like. So when you met me, I went straight to what I was running a restaurant before I moved here. So I went to a restaurant when I came, and I left that job in 2019. And I went to sales, and then COVID happened in 2020, so I didn't do anything with it. I went to one acting class and did a couple PA stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I didn't get to feel any community of any sort.
Gotcha. What about you, Tim?
When I first moved here, I didn't have any intention of doing anything entertainment. But it was the atmosphere that got me back into rapping. And at that time, you were able to find different places to perform. There were more open mics. There were more places for performing. Like if you went to this open mic, they would tell you about this one over here. Like she was saying, COVID happened, everything shut down. Everything. And me not being able to perform, that it got to me to the point where it was like, like I lost a lot of motivation for the music, so I started taking acting classes because a day job's not for me. And as far as the acting thing goes, like when I first moved out here, my ex, she was an aspiring actress, and it went from in-person auditions. Like I saw the transition go from in-person auditions with her to start self-taping.
Don't even get me started on
And
that.
then like the only time if you got called back through a self-tape, then it was in person. But now it's just mostly self-tape. Like I hear it's starting to transition back to in person, slowly but surely. But those are only for certain people. If you have a good agent, that'll get you that in-person audition.
And if you look a certain way. Or if you're a certain height.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
A certain girl. Like, I've seen a few of the changes, and it's I would have to say it's a little harder now. Like it's supposed to be easier with all the advent of social media, but it's a little harder now if you want to get that break.
A lot of stuff is taken up by influencers as well too. A lot of our jobs are not for actors anymore.
I had something to say about that, but I was saving it too.
Speak on it.
Because my teacher was even talking about that. Like a lot of influencers are getting these jobs. Why? Because they'll put on these for example, Big Ja is one of them. Love his skits, love them. But he has like a series. He has the Lesbian Homie series. He has the Super Blood series. Like each one is a season. So when the casting directors and producers see, oh, this person has like season 1, season 2, and it's all on social media, they see that this person knows the hard work behind the scenes as well as in front of the scenes. So they will get that person like King Batch or Big Ja or maybe even Mix or one of them, Drewski. Like they'll see, oh, these influencers, they're about their business. They understand the hard work behind it, and they already have an
their resume is already there.
Exactly. So then they'll take them as opposed to this person who may be phenomenal at acting but doesn't have a following.
What about you, Steven? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'll wait till he's done. I'll wait.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my journey has been, it's been up, down, everywhere. Like when I first got here, I feel like I got taken advantage of a lot when I first, because I didn't know. I'm from North Carolina, right? I won't have anything like this like in North Carolina. It's not thriving in big like arts, like you know. And so a lot of people trying to take advantage of me. Then I met a guy who really he had my back and he pointed me in the right direction.
Nice.
But then gang violence murdered him. So then I had to deal with that, and I wanted to quit rap after that, you know. But I kept pushing, and then eventually I went into the acting world, and I was really enjoying myself. And then the pandemic happened, and that now it slowed down again, and then.
Seems like the pandemic, the strike happened too. Like,
the
strikes, that really, you know.
Yeah.
And then the advent, on top of that, the advent of all the streaming sites.
Yeah.
Because now there's a lot of opportunities, but it's harder to get into because you have Netflix original programming, Amazon original programming, Paramount original programming, Peacock original programming, Hulu original programming. There's so many things, but they're looking for a certain type.
But I think that the more, honestly, for me, okay, I feel like the more the merrier, because that's like more opportunities. And even like during the pandemic, my sister had called me and asked me was I in this movie, and I'm like, yeah, how you know? Because I had got to the point where I don't tell them about every, single project I do. And she's like, oh, because somebody called me and told me they saw you on Amazon Prime. And I was like, oh. I had never knew what happened with the film because I filmed this back in like 2016, 2017, and we had the premiere and everything. And I knew that they were shooting for distribution, but you do projects and you just don't know where they land, especially because I wasn't like a principal, well, I was principal, but I wasn't like a main character. I was in one scene, so when she called me about that, that was kind of cool. Then I had a cousin hit me up literally like maybe just last year about that same film that's now on Tubi that again, I didn't know. But she was like, hey cousin, are you in this movie? And I was like, yeah. She was like, yeah, I was watching it. And I was like, that's my cousin. So I think it's good that they have like all these different, at least just from my perspective, and maybe because I haven't been out there in a while, so I'm just seeing like, oh, this is more opportunities because now it's like, even if I don't get to Netflix, I can still do, like you said, like Paramount has their original. And then I saw recently that like I think Snoop Dogg and Death Row just signed. Like I saw that on Deadline. So it's just like all these little things that I feel like you can, even if you don't, you still can connect. It's still like the industry's always been networked, like have network censored. So even if you reach out to these production companies or like these people signing these new deals, even if you don't make it to their, you can still, it's still opportunity to connect with the different, like, because even like Kendrick Lamar now, they producing productions now too.
I was telling him, like, sometimes we would talk about how ridiculous that Pop the Balloon Challenge thing is. And now they're on Netflix.
Yeah.
But there's an issue with that.
Yeah, because now it's changed.
It's changed.
It's not even
right. They changed the culture and they.
Yeah.
Of course, you sign to somebody and they're
gonna change the
concept. Hear this out. Okay, so I was listening to Romani Malco. I don't know if you heard of him. He has a channel, Tijuana Jackson, whatever. He was talking about that we need to start using a homogenization tax. So that means every single time that they decide that they want to change something about the culture or ethnicity of any of the characters, they should be taxed. That you should be paid more money every single time they change it for everything, even the hair color. You know what I mean?
Wow, that would
anything.
be interesting. That would be interesting.
That would be on the creator though, because some people they create things and they don't really
care.
Like it's just like I'm just trying to sell this, versus like some people like no, this is for the culture. You know what I mean? Like some people they don't. But I guess what I'm saying is like, let's say if you're writing a film and you're not writing it specifically for the culture, you're just writing a film. You know what I mean? Like then it's like they're not really changing it because that's not what you intended for. But if you intended for something like, for example, Get Out, like if they would have changed that, that would have been like unacceptable. Right?
So let me ask this: what kind of tactics do you think we should make or create in order to create more opportunities for ourselves, or to make sure that our programming stays? I mean, I know you said about the tax, but what are some other things? What are some other things that you think we should do as a culture?
Create our own.
I would say I think we need probably like to our own people. Like I think that like. Because I don't want to sound like, well, people should be okay with taking a lesser pay, But, like, it's like that whole idea of, like, a Grammy being more valuable than a Soul Train music award, type of thing.
Yes.
Like, if you could find a black streaming, services or someone who's not willing to change it, they might have a smaller check, But I can't, that's me personally, but I'm black and black. So I think everybody might not be able to make the same sacrifices, for that. But me personally, I think that, you might not always be able to get that crossover, quote unquote, whatever thing that you're trying to get. But it's what you're willing to sacrifice. That's the real question. Then you could figure out your strategies if you know what you're willing or not willing to sacrifice.
Yeah. Got any ideas, Terrence?
No, I think that what you said, create our own. I think that I just love like music perspective, like being an indie artist, and we was kind of talking about it earlier off camera, is just that owning your own and creating your own, and with social media we can be our own businesses. Like social media is not just for looks, it really is monetization until they change that, but it is a way to build your own brand and be your own ambassador, and you are your own everything, you know, so you own the rights to yourself basically. So I think I would continue to work that, you know what I mean? They already got it, but like whatever that is, you know, like YouTubers or TikToks, however long that lasts, but YouTube for sure, like being in that space, and then they making other streaming stuff where it's not YouTube, because I'm sure YouTube got restrictions where it stifles you doing certain things. Yeah, you gotta be all, you know. So I'm sure some other smart person will come along, you know, it could be any of us sitting at this panel, to create a network where you can, you know what I mean? Obviously in some type of couth and tech, but like you really do monetize and make the most of your likeness, and you know, continue to do that, you know what I mean? But it is a weird thing when we go back into influencers, so we take back our own jobs. If you really want to think about it, it's like a full circle. We become the influencer actors, we now are bringing it around full circle, which is where I'm trying to go with my career. Is like I want to be traditionally trained. I want to know old Hollywood. I want to know the ins and outs of that. But I also want to, like we talked about earlier, know what the young people are doing. You know what I mean? You know, understand that I want to do it, but I want to understand it, or just how to do both, being a hybrid of some sort. And that's why I'm proud of being a millennial, because I feel like we're hybrids in general. You know?
Well, I think, well, not just with the AI, because I think what he's saying is like bringing the influencer mindset and impact into the Hollywood circle or into the Hollywood practice, you know. So,
but still being trained. Like I'm an actor. But I know influence because I have my YouTube, I have my channel, I have my, you know what I mean, my likeness. But I am trained at acting. I'm not just popularity, you know what I mean? So,
and to piggyback off that, I think we also should have our own workshops, so people like you who are trained in that can bring it back to the youth
and bring it all, full circle, exactly. Because the thing about it when they're on the other side is that a lot of the influencers don't know the footwork of on set in business. Like they don't know the terms, and they're learning. So we have the Pretty B's and the B Simones and all of those people who just started off, you know, but they're getting movie roles right now, and they're learning. You know what I mean? Will Smith is taking Pretty B under her wing, you know, under his wing and doing those things. But like the people who are already on the age brink of just like not knowing anything, and they're just like, I'm an influencer, but they don't ever want to be an actor or whatever, but they become that workshop of some sort would be able to be like, we have acting classes and we want to teach you about monetization and not being ripped off on social media, not being ripped off also contractually on set, you know what I mean? Like we say, being taken advantage of like, you know, in Hollywood, because like blending those both together, I think.
And not just acting, like, you know, the writing,
the whole
production.
thing.
We need to
because
all
a lot
share
of those
that.
social media people are writing their own content. They're brilliant writers. They are making stuff. When I'm watching them, the editing, all that stuff I can't do. I have time, like I really am the actor. So whenever I'm doing my own stuff, it stops for me acting. I'm not an editor. I do not like to edit. Now I can learn to edit, but it's like a whole thing. A lot of stuff is unseen because I just don't. That's not my wheelhouse. You know, but it's those people that can do all of it, and somebody needs to bridge that gap, you know, at some point.
Because even with self-tapes, they're like a mini production.
Oh my God.
And then you gotta, if you need someone to read with you, like if you're like an actual, you gotta find somebody. People ain't always just there sitting there.
Some people just can't read.
Not necessarily.
People can't
They can't read.
There's an app called Cold Read that you can
I have Cold Read.
Oh, okay, that's good to know.
We are not playing.
We are not
Cold Read, like you record it.
You record your own stuff, stand up.
Oh, okay.
And then it has it where it's like, okay, this was the last line of this one. So that's it's an interesting app.
Still production.
Still
It's just, and I don't know if it's the act of me, but that human to human, like it is nice that you have that creativity.
I always say I'm better in person.
Yeah, I
always
feel
say
that too. Like
it's better in person.
it is. Even like when you go into a physical audition and you meet the casting director and you guys like actually
There's a bond that occurs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Always
So,
better in person.
but it is creative, I guess. It exercises your creative muscle and such, and your own self-tape too. So.
I feel like Steven has a lot to say. Because
I'm going through it and figure out, which y'all I haven't already said. You know what I mean? Like,
got you.
Because, but I did also take down a lot of other organizations that really do contribute and help with in the Black creative field.
Nice.
Like what?
So there's the Black Acting Method, workshop resources funded by renowned actor and teacher. The Black Acting Method provides workshops and training programs specifically tailored for Black actors, emphasizing culturally relevant techniques and storytelling. The African American Film Critics Association, the Black Women Film Network.
Okay.
Man,
you got a whole lot.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Sit next to me.
New Black Fest, Stage 32, Black Artist Fund, UCLA School of Theater. A lot of these programs, like I can send links, but
talk about reuniting community.
there's a link right there. Yeah,
We'll get those links later.
Yeah.
So, with all the pros and cons that you guys mentioned here today, what do you say like living in Los Angeles is still worth it, and why or why not?
I'll go. I've noticed with just my time here, like if let's say a production is happening in New York or something, right? Or fuck it, we'll go somewhere, Oklahoma. The production's happening in Oklahoma. They might find local actors for that, like who the fuck are you gonna find? But I've also seen like main stars are generally taken in LA.
Okay.
Like Atlanta productions, they find the main characters for the most part in LA. Then they fly you out there, and it's up to you if you want to stay or not. Like, for example, like it started with The Walking Dead when Atlanta started becoming one of the main things, main places for film, because it was like, oh, it's cheaper out here. We filmed The Walking Dead. It'll be cheaper if we leave the equipment here as opposed to flying it back, right? Yeah. Okay, we'll leave it here. And then other studios started.
Tyler
Perry. Other studios started doing it, and look at it now. It's pretty much Hollywood 2.0, mini Hollywood. But in a lot of the stuff that they produce over there, a lot of the main characters come from LA. That's my perception of it, and it's like
that might be why the community is kind of feel like it's leaving, like it's nobody here.
And it's like,
especially Black community, it's Atlanta, like if you're Black, that's where you're gonna go.
But then like I said, my ex ended up moving to Atlanta because she wanted to act more. She ain't doing shit.
I was saying,
She ain't doing shit. So it's like,
is it worth it?
But it depends on the person. I think it's so many factors. So it depends on LA versus where. Like, I'm from Chester, PA. Like, no shit, I love where I'm from, but ain't many much production going on out there. But my family is out there, so that obviously I think about that, like time with my family. Like, I look at myself as like a whole being. Like, I'm not just an actor. Even like my experiences in LA, I can't just value it based on how far I've gotten in acting, because I've had life experiences, I've met people, I've been on this whole like journey as a soul. So I think it just depends on like the factors that you're weighing out when you're saying like LA or where, like versus me in my hometown. There's not productions going on in Chester, PA, which I love my hometown, but I'm just, LA obviously would be more ideal than there, but then also my family's there, so I have to kind of like weigh out the pros and cons of like just my experience, like overall, not just acting, like my actual human experience, my lifetime, like what that's gonna look like, my soul's journey. So I kind of just For me, it's about with God. Like I haven't felt like God told me to leave. If I felt like God was telling me to leave, then I would leave. I wouldn't be happy about it because it's just certain perks that come with being in LA that you just ain't going to get unless you go to like another, you know, like unless you go to like a New York City or but I don't know. It just you got to figure out what's worked for you and your journey. Also, too, if I leave, I would like to have a plan. Like I was talking to a friend actually from Camden, New Jersey. Steve, shout out to him from the shop out. He's a comedian. We met out here just from us being in the same area. And he went back, but he's doing he's making so many moves out there. You know, he's doing great. But, you know, we were talking because I thought about it. Of course, I always think about it, especially with my family being over there. And he was telling me, like, oh, you know, if you come back, just ways to set it up, you know, so that way you go back, you have you can take something with you because you have been in LA for however long you haven't been. You come back to anywhere saying you've been in LA and people are like, oh, you know.
Oh, you're Hollywood.
It's Hollywood. I just get up and wake up. My dad like, oh, yes, that Hollywood stuff. I'm like, oh, I didn't even do anything. But yeah, so it's just like so many different factors. Like I think that question, it just depends on the person.
Right.
Like for me, I feel like being in LA is still worth it because I haven't felt moved to do otherwise, you know.
I did hear a saying one time, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere.
Yes, I've never had
But if you make it in LA, you've made it.
I haven't heard
That was a
that.
first.
Yeah.
Like, I heard that just a couple weeks ago and it was like,
Man, that's great.
What is making it though? Like paying your bill? That's making it.
Yeah, I know, right?
no, like making it is fucking
Actually owning the house.
Yeah.
owning a house in the fucking hills and don't like Kai Cenat, for example. I know that I never followed him. I know he's big off of what he does on streaming, but he's doing
He's made
he's made it.
Yeah.
He's made it.
Yeah, definitely.
That like somebody like that has made it where it's like, hey, we want him to come on our show now. How much are we gonna charge? Like, offer him $500,000 or more. Yeah, that's made it. Like,
Definitely.
but
For me, one of the biggest factors is politics. You know, like
that's another
trying to go to a place where it's down south where the Republican state, red state, and you got to deal with that politics. Who knows if they're implementing DEI stuff in their film stuff, you know? And you probably more than likely have to get put in a stereotypical role and deal with being in those roles.
Wow.
So he's upset.
Dang,
went
that's
left
deep. Yeah.
this year. I was like,
Isn't that
no, they
something?
went right, but literally, I'm saying left is in the
Being-
slang way, but they actually went right.
Yeah.
What about you, Terrence? Do you see yourself staying, or
I don't.
why? I'm kidding.
No, I'll tell you what.
I got reasons.
The thing is like, when you're not from here, it's two kind of people I realized that move here. It's like people who are trying to get away from where they're from, and they absolutely love it. It's like, it's beaches, it's mountains, it's sun all year round. It's, you know, you can be actually by yourself out here, segregated away. If that's your life, this is where you come in about the preference, about what the kind of person and the circumstances, what you're looking for. And then it's people like me, who is, when I grew up in Chicago, I grew up with family. And although people are here not like blood relatives, I still look for community outside of acting. And when I can't find it, because I feel like I'm more of a human being more than I am an actor,
Right.
that clashes with just my lifestyle. So I want to go to my local grocery store and know Margaret, who's 97 years old, and say good morning, and everybody walks past and don't just stare at me blindly without speaking, like, you know, and it just bothers me on just that part, because a lot of times actors are just not working and not on set. So my day-to-day life, I do want to feel some type of comfort, and I just don't feel it here, that the business leads, and people can always say, like, it's not people from LA, and there's no shade to LA people, because I know they like to eat us up. They like to eat us up, but this is just the experience, you know. It, you know, probably would be cool to have somebody from LA. They like to defend themselves, and you can do that. And I like to fight right with you. I tussles. The thing is that like the way it's outside of the industry though. Like I could be in South Central, Crenshaw. It's a way. It's a feeling in the spirit here that just does not feel good half the time. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel community. Even if you know what I mean. And so a lot of people are always like, Terrence, you're from Chicago, so you keep. I said, it's not really about keeping it real, but you can't see me coming when I'm a wolf in Chicago. Like that's the thing about it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's okay. Like if you're gonna be the wolf, be the wolf. If you're gonna be the hero, be the hero. At least I want to see it. I don't like all of the
fluff before I find out.
It's just too much.
Right.
It just gets too much, and I would like to have an industry, a place to stay where I can do both. If I can have both, and Atlanta was a whole, I would go to Atlanta. I would honestly work at Tyler Perry Studios, do all of the things, be more wealthy.
And Southern hospitality is real.
And I go to a restaurant and I feel at home. And then here though, I'll be feeling like people stare me dead in the face and just be like, you gonna speak, or you gonna come into a room and say hello, or you gonna do the things that, and they don't have to, but it's up to us if we want to change that environment. So
I think like obviously there's the contingent that wants to be in the industry. So it's like, what could you do for me?
Oh, and I hate that.
Like, what could you do for me?
It's a lot of social
nothing.
currency.
What could you do for me?
Social currency
Nothing.
is like.
And then
I mean so many people who already. It's like they have ideas in their head what I can do for them, but they don't. They don't look at it as a partnership.
No,
right.
You know.
And then the sad thing is, not everybody in LA, but there are some
not everybody
who that mindset infected.
But and then there's also the people who already have things and they already are set, and you're trying to connect with them, but they think you want to mooch off them.
Yeah, they automatically take that.
That's the culture here.
There was one incident where prominent DJ, music producer. I was working at this spot in Hollywood, and music producer was friends with the owners. He heard me spit one time. He was like, "Wait." He looked at me. I told him about it. I'm not gonna say this producer's name. I'm not on camera, but he was like, he looked at me. He was like, "You spit, don't you? Spit something." So I did. I did one of my verses, and then he was like, "Yo, that shit was dope. Anytime you need studio time, free studio time, anytime. Just hit me up." Gave me his information. I hit him up when I was looking for studio time. Nothing.
Anytime somebody say something free, I'm especially as a woman. I don't know if it's different, but I'm already like,
for women, y'all gotta look out.
It's double for you.
It's triple for you because it's like, oh, you want free studio time? Well, do me a favor.
Exactly. It's all, never mind, child.
David, next time we're gonna have you on camera just so we can have so we can have somebody defend LA.
Consider a little bonus.
I couldn't see. I don't know, maybe because I'm from the East Coast. I'm from Chester, PA. I always got a rep. But so when I go back home and I go into the Wild Wild and I speak, everybody looking at me like, "What you speaking for?" It's not like a mean way, but it's just like hi, like it's just like in LA, it's a little different. Like you say hi to strangers and it's not that weird. Like it's not.
I heard that from East Coast though. I did hear that.
Like
you go back east, you speak to people. They look
in Jersey and New York, you can say how you doing to somebody. They don't really care how you do. How you doing? That's just how we say hi.
It's autopilot.
And see here for me is like in the South, when you see another black person, we always head nod. That's just how it is. Here it could be taken offensively, like, "Oh, you want something? You want?"
Oh, you want?
I'm like, yo, like, I'm just yeah. And then, matter of fact, the first week I got here, I'm crossing the street, and I guess I don't know if I just wasn't crossing the street fast enough, but he rolls down his window and he says, "Get a fucking car, you loser."
Wow, that's crazy.
What area were you in?
I was in Hollywood.
Which is dumb because you could be walking to your parked car.
Exactly.
Right?
That's why I'm like, what is going on? Like, but also the way I dress, I just got back from I was living in Alaska, so I just got back from Alaska. So I looked like an Alaskan motherfucker. Like, and ain't no brothers in Alaska, so I already looked all English. You know what I mean? And I had to immediately go find some damn different clothes. I was working at a resort.
Oh, nice. Alaska. I actually always wanted to visit it because there's a lot of nature out there. So I like nature, but yeah.
I just don't want the 24-hour sun.
Yeah, that was hard.
Dark. That's the thing I don't want.
Yeah.
I can deal with the 24-hour dark.
I think it's
but that's during the winter time.
Isn't it like 20 hours? I thought it was 20 hours dark.
It
2024.
a little bit of darkness that it ain't dark. It's just it's a darker blue.
Like just like a tent over.
Yeah.
So you got like a non-stop Northern Liberties kind of thing, like
You gotta have blackout curtains, and if you have one of those graveyard shifts, you definitely not gonna never know what time of day it is. You're gonna be confused.
Got you. So, I mean, we're kind of down to our last three questions, or my last three questions. So what would be the ideal, like, creative ecosystem for each one of you if you were to stay in LA, or, you know, you looked at being here as long-term? What would be the perfect?
For me, I would definitely want to. I want someone who has an incubator. You know, someone who has a place where we come to and just work on things together. You know, wherever that is. You know, and at the same time, it's like, and in utilizing the Skype. You know, have these. Like, if you need actors to help you go over lines, like, you can do those Skype calls and with each other, you know, and and then that's how I feel.
Gotcha. Yeah. Let me head over to Terrence real quick.
I think my ecosystem would definitely need consistency. Just, you know what I mean, flow, even if it's auditions, because that's a part of the job, and it teaches you and it hones your craft. I also need just kindness and respect. I just think that the industry just doesn't have that, especially when contracts are made or how we even just treated on set a lot of the times. I just feel like it's just always like trying to lowbrows, like, I don't know. And also the way that, you know, it's a lot of things under that tier. I come to set and I sign my DAs, I do all the paperwork, and I get there and I do my 16 hours, and then you wait 30 plus days to pay somebody. Doesn't make sense to me. Or am I looking for a payment? That doesn't make sense. I came here and did everything you need to do in a quick, fast heartbeat, so that's something I would need to be fixed in my ecosystem, and that goes down to respect and kindness.
Right.
I just think you don't have any one of those about people's time, because you got everything you wanted out of me, and I don't have what I needed in return in order to be here. You know what I mean? So those are probably a couple things. So opportunities, respect, kindness, and if those three things will happen, the weather obviously keep you here. So I would stay if those three things happen, you know, for me.
Okay. That don't have respect and kindness thing. It's like, also too, don't dish it out if you can't take it. That's my whole thing, because again, I'm a chancellor, so I can't handle you. But when I return,
I go for that jugular.
Don't get mad.
I can't ask questions. Every little question you ask is like, as an actor, you're supposed to, and if you want to be taken seriously, like, it's one cast director, I'm like, girl, you have no idea the way I am holding back. Like, you can't even fathom how I could really verbally annihilate you right now. But this is something I actually care about. If it was like, you know, a 9 to 5, whatever, at the local store, then you probably would have caught it, because I'm not that invested. But like, who do you think you're talking to?
Yeah, and I do want to, and I'm going to let it get to that, but I do want to pick back. I know it's not about the question, casting directors. This dance that we have between casting directors and actors is such a problem for me as well. Not all, no, some are great, because a lot of them were actors, and some of them don't.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, this is the advice that we are giving young people, and I've gotten advice when I was green, is that I'm supposed to kiss the ass of every casting director. Like, I'm supposed to be like, it's like all of these hidden rules. It's like, I don't believe in the word opportunist. I think we all are opportunists in some. We're all on the table to be opportunists of some sort. It is not now a user is something different. If somebody say you're an opportunist, what else am I doing? I'm very confused. Now the difference is that I'm not going to use you because I have something to offer.
Right, it's an exchange.
I have something to offer you, whether that be friendship, whether that be respect, whether that be whatever you're looking for. I'm a well-rounded individual. I can give you whatever you need. Okay? The thing is that like they always like, if you are talking to a casting director, let's say you just meet them out and about, don't tell them your resume. Don't act like this is business. Don't act like you're a family or a friend. Do this. But when they approach us, it's, well, what are you sad? What can you do? Are you doing this? Can I see your social media? What's the social? That's not enough. Like it gets very unpersonable at that point when you need something from me or something like that. But I have to come and be all humble to you. I'm like, I don't get the whole dynamic on why I just can't be a straight shooter with you and you a straight shooter with me. You know what I mean? So actors always get the bottom barrel. We face everything. We make all this money for y'all, but then we give you give us just the bare minimum and give it to me. I love it.
Piggyback off that, like I don't like the caste system on sets. It does feel like it's a caste system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not an S-kisser. Like I couldn't do that even if I wanted to be. Like I would be really honest. Like,
I really try my best to hold my respect, give it the farthest way.
Right,
I really do. I try to
exactly.
walk to the room, respect. I shake hands firmly.
Well, my face is super authentic,
I mean,
so if I'm like something, my eyebrows are gonna do something. I don't need to.
I'm out of here.
My face is very expressive, and I've been told to do certain things where it's like, and not on set, but for other jobs where it's like, if I don't do this, I could get fired. And it's like, I'm not gonna do it anyway. But my response is, okay, just like that.
Yeah.
Okay, straight face and everything.
I hit you. Are you sure?
And like they'd be like, we need you to do this, this, and this. Knowing in my head, I ain't doing that shit because it's not part of my job. Okay. And then when I don't do it, they don't come back to me because it's like, you know, it's not part of my job, so I'm not gonna fucking do that shit. So it's like, I've learned through the corporate world how to make them feel like they have the power, knowing that you ain't doing the goddamn thing they say.
Plus it ain't worth the words. Like we just want to see when that time comes.
That was a scary thing for me when I first came because I was always a big process and procedure. Like I like rules. I like for it to have some type of construct. I learned that when somebody was just like, if he was, I'm like, you're not gonna get kicked off set. You know, like that was the scariest thing. Now I'll be right with them. I'm like, we'll see when it gets there. They don't even know. It is on the paper somewhere, and they don't know what they doing. And I'm watching them not know. You can't possibly tell me what to do. So when you figure it out, you run it back to me. I will get you exactly what you need. Once you know. But until you don't know, I can't help you. I don't get paid enough to write it. I didn't write it, and it's not my production. So when you figure it out, you come back to me, and I will portray it for you. Until then. That's one of the moments where you about to get kicked off set. Okay. Don't let that pay not be good.
Do something.
I'm about to go home. I dare you. Let that pay be bad. I'm about to get ready to go 2 hours ago. I was there for lunch.
Yeah.
So
stay for lunch.
I'm just there for lunch.
I've actually had producers come back and apologize to me, and this was a big set. I ain't gonna say no name. This is like one of the biggest things I worked on. But I was in the right. You know what I mean? I didn't like go off, but I did assert myself, and I just think he had a conscience. Some people just happen to have a conscience, you know. But I was having a reaction to one of the materials of my
costume.
Yeah, and I have sensitive skin, and it gets bad.
They don't do what they're supposed to do.
They really do.
And I'm telling him like, I gotta get out of these clothes because my skin, and it was a lot of things going on because some people they kind of give background, because that's what I was for that production. They give them a bad rap because they come in acting like children. I'm like, just because you're on background, you don't gotta act like we in the school cafeteria. Like you're still an adult. You come in, you listen. When they say quiet on the set, why are you still talking? Knowing that they got to film, like things like that. So it was a lot of immature, juvenile things going on at the time. So he just kind of snapped at me, and then I snapped back. And he came back later and apologized, and then I felt bad, like damn, I should have been, gave him more grace or whatever. But he just happened to have a conscience about that, because that same production, because it was a huge production, the hair and makeup tried to scold me, and I'm like, That's not what we're not going to do, especially because it wasn't my fault. They didn't have an idea of who was coming back the next day and who wasn't. I happened to come back the next day because I walked right past the lead. So they leaded me, and I had a big old fro and sequence on. It was like a 70s thing. So I had to come back the next day. But I actually had to call the casting and ask them, like, am I coming back tomorrow or what? Because I knew, like, they might lead me. Right. So I guess hair and makeup didn't have things prepared, like my wig and stuff. So the lady come back like, did you know you was coming back today? I was like, no, why? Because who are you, like, because you're not about to scold me about this. Like, first of all, that's not your place to scold me.
Right.
If I didn't, I was come back the next day and I dropped the ball. You tell that casting agency, and then they would say something to me. You're not about to sit here and doing my hair and scolding me like you my big sister or something. And she didn't just ask him like it was like the way she asked, and the lead actor, I already heard them complain about him. I guess he was giving them hell, and they just wanted that cast system whole thing.
Yeah.
Like,
but sometimes having good energy helps a lot, right?
Yeah.
There's so many sets that I go on, and I didn't have the right wardrobe on at all.
Yeah.
But and the wardrobe person, they was annoyed with everybody.
Yeah.
But then I get in there and I immediately I complimented her and I asked her about how her day was and everything, and then her attitude completely changed. And she saw what I had on. She was like, you know what? You can wear that. I'm not gonna even get you anything else. Just wear what you have on. And I stood out because I was wearing my own shit.
Yeah.
So and then she made sure to try to get me right in the front of like the scene to make sure everybody can see.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't have the right wardrobe on.
Yeah.
You know.
So that energy was cool, but that lady, she just had. People take kindness for weakness too. Like when you come in and you be. Like, I treat everybody the same. I don't care who you are, but sometimes somebody's a big person or higher up or whatever, and I'm just giving them the general basic human decency that I give everybody. They mistake that for like, oh, this person is like, crumbling at my feet, and it's like, no, I would treat, the crackhead the same way, whoever, like, and people, it just depends on the person that you're dealing with, I didn't come there
Or production.
I was happy to be on the set. Like, first of all, this is a production one of the main reasons that I even wanted to get into acting because of this person's productions. Like, I always wanted to be in one of his productions, so I was elated. But I don't know, for me in society, I feel like I probably would have gotten further, not only in my professional life, but probably also my romantic life, if I followed like the money, power, respect thing. Because my thing, I don't give a damn what I got. You won't respect me.
Yeah,
like,
real talk.
Want no money or no power. You won't have to.
We all got straight.
Because I went, period. And we go toe to toe. We want to take it there too.
Right.
What about you two? What would be the perfect ecosystem for you two?
He already said.
Yeah, I already said.
I cut him off.
But on top of that, I think we already covered everything. Like,
pretty much. Like everybody covered everything.
I didn't say mine, because
I knew I was lying. I was like, somebody over here didn't answer me.
Mine would definitely be where I can see my family more. Like, obviously, I come from like a family. I have a huge family, a lot of nieces and nephews, and I just missed out. I realized like I missed out on a lot of time with them. And so if I could just like fly back home more often, or even if I could really just like keep my apartment out here, but just only come out here when I have a project or something like that, then that would be like the ideal thing for me. Or the winters, come out here for winters.
That's kind of what some of the big ones do. They'll live somewhere else, and then it's like, oh, they got a movie coming out.
I would definitely do that.
I never plan to retire in LA either. Like, I want to retire. Like, I'm from Pennsylvania. It's a lot of woods. I want to retire in like a small little.
She said a lot of woods.
A lot of green, somewhere, where it's just a quiet little town.
My spirit needs something like that.
I need something in Europe. But my ego.
You said Europe.
I'm ready for the back porch with the rocking chair. Deer watching and.
I'd have to say my ecosystem is just working with people I get along with. I'm a heavy introvert with ADHD and RSD. If you don't know, look it up. It's rejection sensitivity
disorder.
Yep.
Not disorder, but rejection sensitivity dysphoria.
Yeah. And
So how does that work for you in this industry?
With the crazy thing is, with this industry, I know how it is. Like my brother, he's a director, He's directed a few films and had one of his shorts on HBO Max. Now I gotta find out where it is, but even he would like when I used to fuck with him and be like, when are you gonna put me in a movie? When are you gonna put me in a movie? When are you gonna put me in a movie? His response was always the same. When you learn how to act.
Right.
And I already know that this industry, it's one of those where it's like, I could do 200 auditions this year and not book one thing. But then next year I could do 200 auditions and maybe book 3 things. So it's a numbers game with this industry. The RSD comes in with relationships,
Personal, yeah.
interpersonal. Professionally, I know what I'm getting.
Right.
That's all right. Oh, that's an 88.
No, I ain't want to say that.
But it's like I know what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
Like I know.
It got to me though, just because I didn't know about RSD until I got diagnosed with ADHD.
Wow.
And
then I started seeing it. And I was like, so now I
that's
can keep up with it. And
yeah.
Now I'm about to feel like that. Okay, never mind. Don't worry about it, Steve. It's just RSD.
My thing is like when I do the auditions, I don't go into them with the mindset I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. I go into it with the mindset I don't need this. I just want to do this shit. Because if you go in with the mindset, I need it, you're gonna stress yourself the fuck out.
Yeah.
But if you go in with the mindset, I just want to do this. This is something I enjoy doing, so I want to do this. Then it's like, did it work this time? No, I didn't get the role, but guess what? I'm still working towards doing what I enjoy, what I actually enjoy doing. So my ecosystem is just working with people that I get along with, people that I like. Like, granted, there's gonna be arguments between, especially when you get close to people. It's gonna be brotherly, sisterly arguments, and it'll be like, fucking, you son of a bitch! Oh my God! Next day, it was good. You ready to go do that thing? That's what I want.
Yeah.
That family dynamic, but it's in this thing. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.